every ounce of it, every drop, every taste, on the tip of my tongue, bend my nail, bite my thumb. Evidence won't clear my name, baby, your presence will be the breath into the moment when I breath my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. I'll do anything. I'm not asking this is mine through the perfect strength. 10,000 days on the line. Days won't clear our names. Oh, baby, it's our last kiss. We'll last forever. That's the moment when I rest my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. Yeah, the only answer's what we've always wanted. Ooh, and we hold it till there's nothing else can let us down. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Oh, 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 oh. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Yeah, when we hold it till there's nothing else can let us down. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Oh, oh,
Victim, it's over! Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies! Here come the Buffalo Sabres!
Woo! Welcome to All Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by, of course, Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with 8 different Western New York locations and over 300 beers to choose from. Make sure that you choose Fatty Beer. Both kid and dog friendly, open 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. and later. And of course, live music, entertainment, and trivia at all 8 locations, 7 days a week. Buffalo Go Apparel, one of the best spots to get any of your apparel needs when it comes to your favorite Buffalo sports teams. What's your shirts, your hats, your hoodies? Check them out. Tell them 2 Goalies One Mike sent you. Buffalogo.com or at Buffalogo on Instagram and Twitter. Check out all their merchandise, from our own merchandise, the Sabres, Dominic Hasek, Goated, Snapback Hat, the shirts, the hats, now available in a long sleeve shirt as well. The RJ commemorative snapback and the two-tone snapback. A lot of cool stuff on there. Go check out their Eclipse gear right now for the upcoming Eclipse next week. And again, you can find Fatty Beer at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter as well. Hurls, Sabres come up big on Jeff Skinner night, 6-2. I kind of joked a little bit that they should find more things to commemorate, because they always seem to show up for these nights. Maybe minus the Kyle Okposo night. But other than that, like, I think they're pretty much you have a winning record on nights like this, right? RJ night, Miller night, Jeff Skinner night now. What else is there? There's a few other ones out there, isn't there?
I mean, it was RJ's last game.
Yep.
There was, you mentioned Ryan Miller night. Jack Eichel's return.
that counts. That counts.
It was a big one. I guess all the games that don't necessarily really matter in terms of standings, but the emotion helps.
Sure.
And also another 6-goal game in the Goat Heads. That's a pretty common theme as well.
Glad to see that it has like made its return, right?
Yeah. A little too late, and obviously that's frustrating. I think a lot of fans are probably pretty happy tonight because I would say 95 to 97% of the fan base does love Jeff Skinner.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people at this point wanted to not only see him do well, but the team honor him and do well in his 1000th NHL game, which is nothing to sneeze at. So I'm personally really pleased with the way they play tonight. And even though they're 99.9% chance not going to make the playoffs, like it is good to see progression. It's good to see a team go out there with some heart and dominate a team that is in the playoff race, a team that's fighting for every single point, and they're currently in the second wild card spot. You get another game with them in a week and a half. So, if they're not going to do it, which they're obviously not going to make it, I would like to see more games like this in the final 6, especially on the power play. 2 for 2 tonight, and that has obviously been a huge issue all season long. So
I haven't checked the out of score towns yet. I mean, I know Pittsburgh beat New Jersey, but I mean, did
Islanders beat the Blackhawks as well?
No, that's a rough one.
Yeah. So basically, you got to win all 6 and have all 4 teams ahead of you lose 85% of their games, and a lot of they play.
Is it possible? Sure, but
it's at 0.8% chance right now, according to Money Puck. So you can hold on to that if you really want to. I made a fun April Fool's joke yesterday, being really optimistic about our chances, and that got a lot of people going. So,
yeah, I saw that. It's funny.
Yeah, people are pretty upset, and they have every right to be, because optimism amongst this fan base is pretty few and far between right now. But there are things that you can look to as signs of positive development, and I think we can do that here.
Jeff Skinner, I mean, his career at the Sabres has been, there's been a lot to be excited about, a lot to criticize, but for the most part, from what it seems, especially from like a lot of the things, I'm not sure if they showed it during the broadcast, but a lot of how the players talked about him in their own personalized videos, just seems to be like a really good teammate, a guy that's always going to have your back. Good off the ice, good in the locker room. Am I happy that we signed that guy to a $9 million a year deal? No. I mean,
we were at the time though. So
no, yeah, for sure. Looking back at it now, it's like
we've talked about like revisionist history. Like everyone clamored for it after his 40-goal season. And
Jason Botterill was in a no-win situation there.
Exactly. So yeah, of course it's not like ideal right now, but it's hard to go back and change that now that we've kind of seen what this team has turned into since that day.
No, I agree with that.
And honestly, for the most part, there were the Kruger years, which was largely not his fault. But since then, he's been not necessarily completely worth it, but it's also an accomplishment for that deal not to be like one of the worst deals in NHL history after what happened with Ralph Kruger. For him to revitalize the offensive game, the offensive aspect of his game, and become a pretty consistent 25 to 30, even 35 goal scorer since that is pretty amazing, actually. So I give him a lot of credit. And as you said, he seems like a really good guy. Obviously, we've seen his personality. We've seen the between two stalls. He's a funny dude, and he seems like everybody's best friend. Even just seeing him interact with Zach Benson on the video they released this morning, I thought was really, really cool. And that's something invaluable for Zach Benson's career. I think he's a little bit more of a complete player than Jeff Skinner, but learning the offensive nuances of his game is going to do him wonders, especially right around the net where I think he's at his best. So, yeah, I look back upon his time with the Sabres pretty fondly, and I really, really, really hope that we can finally get him to the playoffs next season, because
I agree. I mean,
1,000 regular season games without a playoff appearance is pretty brutal.
Yes, it is. I got some comments in here, all from Mauricio. What got into the Sabres tonight? Woo, the passing was crisp, direct with purpose, assists on goals. Islanders won, Penguins won. We keep chasing, always chasing the Sabres for past 13 years. Cousins needs to be traded. Blockbuster adds Skinner to buy out. So give him a night, man. Come on, it was his night. We gotta talk about buying out.
Talk about him in the off season or tomorrow, but
tomorrow's fine. But leave it alone tonight. He's a bad, toxic, poisonous Rod the Pod. First move is Carolina. Jeez, my God, Mauricio.
I'm not gonna acknowledge that tonight.
Yeah.
But I would say
it was Easter in sunny California, surfing, golfing, pool parties, fun in the sun. How's your Spanish unofficial language of USA, especially Cali?
No es bueno.
No es bueno.
Así. But I will say, in terms of his first question, the passing obviously was better. They said after the game they were getting pucks deep. Every line was doing that. And when you have a consistent effort to get on that forecheck and retrieve the puck and find guys open in front of the net, that really does help your overall offensive game. The power play, I saw someone else say online, finally used some motion. They were transitioning guys out of their spots rather than being stagnant and just staying in the same places and having no creativity whatsoever. That is absolutely essential, not only in the offensive zone generally, but especially on the power play. Because if you're stagnant, a defense can set up in a box and they know where it's going, especially to Tage over on that half wall. Everyone's figured that out by this point. And it only works when they rotate and make it so that it's a little bit more unexpected. It's obviously been a little bit better since Stan Granato took over a month and a half ago. But in the games where it's mattered, obviously the Ottawa game a week and a half ago, and of course the Maple Leafs game this past Saturday, the power play looked really, really bad, and it's looked bad for most of the year. So I really hope for these final 6 games we see legitimate, consistent progress in the area of motion, transition, moving guys in and out of positions, because we have the skill to do it. They just haven't done it all year long.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Again, it's just so wild to see the team we saw out there. And granted, it's against a bad Capitals team, but
it's a bad Capitals team that's they're in a playoff spot. We've done this to so many playoff teams this entire year.
We're not calling them a playoff team right now yet, but
but at least way more in contention than the Sabres are.
Yeah. So, I for me, it's why can't we get this on a more consistent basis? And it's not even things to your points that you just made, but it's just getting bodies in that. Look at Gergensen's goal, just being there in front of the net to tip the puck. How often in other games in that exact situation where Dahlin is taking that shot, is there nobody in front of the net? Why are we not getting these little things more consistently? Those little things that led to a win tonight.
For sure. And I think Dahlin especially was just firing pucks at the net tonight. He only had 4 registered shots on goal, but especially in the first period, he was just getting everything to the net. And I think obviously that's been a point of emphasis, especially coming off a shutout loss to the Leafs. But that needs to be the standard moving forward for this team. Not even just getting pucks to the net, but getting pucks on net. I think they had 12 or 13 missed shots the other night against the Leafs. And that's also been a staple of this team the entire year. Having wide open opportunities, but also shooting it high and wide, and those turn into turnovers. So I think that was really good. And also in reference to Dahlin and Power together were really, really good tonight. I do think their games complement each other really well. Chad said on Twitter that if Power needs to be our Devin Taves to Cal McCarr in the instance of Dahlin, why not go with it? 2 number 1 overall picks. They both have obviously a really, really good offensive game, but Dahlin does everything well. And if that allows Power to be a little bit better defensively and be a little bit more responsible and learn his end of the ice a little bit better, and then have the opportunity to flourish offensively as well, that could be a really good pairing. And I would like to see that in these final 6 games as well, because they absolutely dominated their shot share tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Looking ahead, we have Detroit. Is Detroit the next game?
It is the Flyers on Friday.
Flyers on Friday, and then Detroit, I think, right?
And then Detroit on the road, the Stars on the road, Capitals back at home, and then we finish in Florida
schedule
with the Panthers and the Lightning. Yeah, I mean, it's all teams that are either in the playoffs or fighting for the playoffs. So if you want to prove that you should have been there with a better start, with a better October, November, December, these final 6 games are an opportunity to do that.
Agreed. Do you roll with UPL the rest of the way until you're mathematically out? You do, right?
I would say so. I think he's earned that opportunity, especially over these past 3 months. And I'm not sure when they're going to send Levi back. I mean, there are no more back-to-backs anymore. So theoretically, he has that ability as long as he's feeling good. It has looked like he's worn down a little bit in the past couple of weeks.
Look at his workload. It's nuts.
Understandable. Yeah, completely understandable. Obviously, way weaker goals than we were accustomed to throughout January, February, and March. But even tonight, pretty weak goal to start the game. I think there was a screen in front, but anytime it goes 5-hole, you're going to want that one back as a goalie. But he responded really well, and he made some big saves. And I think that's been a hallmark of his game for most of this season. So, 6 games left. You see what he can do, and you see if he can get that consistency back that he had for 2+ months. Also, he's on my fantasy team, and I'm in the playoffs right now, and I would really, really, really like him to do that. I made a trade to send UC Saros and a couple other players, and got him and another couple guys back. And he's been a horse. He's been really, really good, but play him all 6 and see what he can do.
I guess Terry was seen at the game tonight, sitting in the box with Kevin Adams. Do you think Terry was waving his arm saying, look, everything is good up in that box tonight? I hope not, because that would mean they're not going to spend money in the offseason, which that you need to spend as much money as you possibly can, personally.
I don't think he was doing that. I think I mean, obviously it was a big night with Skinner's milestone, but he's not at that many games in the press box, and the times they did show him, he was taking notes, and he's obviously right next to Kevin Adams.
Yeah,
I imagine there have been some pretty stern conversations in the past couple of weeks.
It has to be.
As we've been basically all but eliminated. So, yeah, I would hope so. And I think this is a point that's been made by members of the media, but I think it's worthy to be reiterated. Terry hasn't spoken to the media about the Sabres since 2020. It's been almost 4 years. I think that was after maybe the pandemic shut the season down. And
was that after the firing of Botterill?
I think it might have been. Or no, it was right before.
I remember the last one that I remember was via Zoom. It was him and Kim, and it was right after they fired Botterill when they said they were. It was like a week after they said they weren't
right.
going to.
Yeah. I think you are right. I'm remembering an in-person one, but that was definitely obviously not during.
I remember Harrington going for the jugular with Kim about how another first-time GM, what makes you think that things are going to be any different, this, that, and the other. He didn't really, pull any punches in that one. But, I mean, to Big Fungus's comment here, the soft cap is real. I mean, I hope not. I really hope that's not going to be a real thing this offseason, because you're not going to have Okposo back. It looks like they plan on bringing Girgensons back, but I really just can't stomach the only additions offensively to this team in the offseason being prospects from Rochester. You just can't. That can't be the solution.
With the way Kulik and Rosian have slowed down a little bit, I don't think that will be. It obviously cannot be, given what happened this season. So no, I do think they're going to be relatively desperate, and that may turn into a situation of an overpay, which we've seen before. Unfortunately, too many times with free agents coming out of town to come to Buffalo. But for a market like this and a franchise that's missed the playoffs for 13 straight years, like you're going to have to overpay a little bit, and you're just going to have to suck it up and hope that it works out. But you also have a really good analytics department and a really good scouting department that, at least by overpaying guys a little bit, you're going after guys that you think can at least live up to that. So
I know people are probably tired of hearing me say his name, but I wish they would have did that with Pat Kane. They should have offered that guy $5 million for one season.
Yeah,
how do you say no to that?
The reception would have been very, very polarizing. And
I mean, you know what? He's a point plus per game player right now.
Oh yeah, given how well he's done, like probably would have been worth it. And I think you see if they make the playoffs and see how he does in the playoffs, is his body kind of adjusts to the surgery and the wear and tear of potentially an extended playoff run. Mm-hmm. But I think he's proved that he is a unique case in this area of surgical procedures.
I would say, I wouldn't even know if I call it a unique case, because the people that pointed to, we'll go with Backstrom, it was more or less like, yeah, he had to pretty much call it a career right after he had the procedure done. But like, he also had been dealing with that hip issue for 5+ years.
Yeah.
It's not like something that just kind of crept up on him the way it did Kane. Like that procedure that Backstrom and Kane, like that was something Backstrom should have had done years before, but he played with it and let it continue to deteriorate until by the time he did get it done, it was just too little too late. With Kane, he, played for less than a year on it and said, okay, let's get this fixed, and got it fixed. But I just would have, and if you're worried about the overpaying a guy like Pat Kane, dude, you would have recouped that money just in jersey sales from South Buffalo alone. Like, it would have been insanity.
No, I know. And the arena would have been sold out. And I mean, if you want to find a way to boost season ticket sales, that would be a pretty good way to do it, because
for sure.
Otherwise it's going to be pretty bleak next year. So I will say that, I mean, he's the type of guy that plays a style of game that he's able to recover from that type of thing a little bit better because of how skilled he is and the way he's able to facilitate and capitalize on open chances. As you saw with the goal that he scored against the Sabres, wide open backdoor, of course, a really good pass and a really good play by his teammates, but I think he is somewhat ageless in the way that he plays. So I personally would love to see it. We're both on the same page there, but it does seem like he has a pretty good thing going, playing with a former teammate in DeBrincat. So we'll see. But I do think that he at least is open to the possibility of returning to his hometown.
I'm at least encouraged at the fact that, like, we were in the conversation, that there were meetings were had, and that he did consider it. And I don't know, maybe Sabres finish strong here. And again, not that like that is the sole solution in the offseason, bringing in Pat Kane, but like it isn't going to hurt, especially if he gives you even 85% of what he's given Detroit this season. Sign me up. Like, what would you pay him next year? Are you doing a 1-year deal, 2-year deal? Like, what is it?
If he's down for a 2-year deal, I would love a 2-year $9 million. If he needs 10, you give him 10. But yeah, I mean, I think something along those lines. Like, I don't think you can give him more than that. I think he's not necessarily worth that. But I would hope that he would take a discount to come home. But given the nature of the situation here, that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, I think somewhere along those lines would be acceptable.
For sure. We're gonna find some post game. We're hit some post game quotes here from the locker room via Brian Cozy. Just give me one moment here as I pull them up. All right, there we go. Granato credits Girgensons for getting the team going, being in front of that Dahlin shot to turn things around. Granato says getting the results on the power play is gratifying because they have been working on it. They have been meeting about it. I hope so. Granato says Paterka has turned his attention to growing, adding details, adding work ethic. He's interacting with 2 older players very well. Granato on Skinner. He brings life and energy every day. It's a benefit to have him as a coach in that regard. Granado also says our next game is where they need the consistency from, and they have to put this one behind us and value the importance of the next game. More from Granado, or more from Skinner says, this is from Jeff Skinner. Skinner says you start thinking about who helped you get to 1,000 games, and to be able to hear from them was great. He says he says he should be the one thanking them. Skinner on his 1,000th game. It was great. It was really special. It was great to have them here to share it with them. It was really nice. I'm assuming, obviously, he's speaking to his family. Skinner said he had enough friends and family here tonight that will remind him about his scoring chances tonight. Says jokingly, we didn't need it tonight. I'll save it. You better. Darlene on Skinner. He's been here the whole time I've been here. His first year, he never let me pay for dinner once. Every year. He's been such a good pro. He takes care of himself. A really good guy to have around the team. More from Darlene. We had a lot of chances throughout the game. Guys are scoring today. Of course, they scored an early goal, but we battled through it. Darlene on power play goals. It was very big. We've been having a lot of meetings on the power play lately. It was good, and we created a lot of chances. Paterka says Skinner really prepares well for games and practices really hard. He's a good example for him. Paterka on good play as of late. I think it's just the details. I'm positioning better in the offensive zone and work ethic in the offensive zone. Paterka says getting the puck in deep really got them going. All four lines were getting the puck deep.
Yeah. As we talked about a lot of that, it was encouraging, and we've seen games like this from them, and then they go out the next night and they don't do any of it. So that's been a staple of the entire season. Another really, really positive sign, and I think it's something to keep doing moving forward, is Paterka, Tage, and Tuck have been really good together. I think
I've loved Paterka up on that line with them.
Their combination of skill sets are really complementary towards each other. Obviously, there's a lot of speed. There is a lot of competitiveness, and there's a lot of finishing ability from all three guys. And of course, putting your best goal scorer with two guys that were previously your two best goal scorers, who can also make plays, especially on Paterka's first goal. I guess it was his second goal tonight. The play Tuck made in the defensive zone. I think we've seen that from him 3 or 4 times since he's been with the Sabres. Hawking a guy down from behind and using that reach with one hand to create a turnover in a semi-breakaway for Paterka is really amazing. And then, just the passing between them and the chemistry seems really good. 28 goals for JJ Paterka. I think we all would have been more than pleased if we said to begin the year that he had 30 goals. The jump that he's taken has been really, really amazing. And I think he only goes up from here. You can just tell how he turns defense into offense as well as he does with his speed and his acceleration coming out of the defensive zone and the neutral zone.
You can see why Kevin Adams was so excited when he was still available in the second round for him to trade up and pick.
Yeah, and at the time, a lot of people said that was a steal in the round and the place that the Sabres got it. And as we said, you saw this past summer in the World Championships. He was the best player in that tournament. And he's been pretty highly regarded for a long time. I thought Quinn got his legs back tonight. I thought he looked really good in terms of some of the chances that he had, especially in the first period. You saw that toe drag, pull in snapshot that he's been known for throughout his career, and he ripped one off the post about an inch from going in. So, yeah, that's encouraging, and I'd like to continue to see that moving forward as well. So, as bleak as it is in terms of the playoffs and how disappointing this season has been in terms of expectations, there are things to look forward to and things to really latch onto for these final 6 games.
And how about how much of a heater Tage Thompson's on right now?
Yeah, same with Alex Tuck.
Yeah, I think I saw some 18 points in Tuck's last 11 games or something along those lines.
I saw 13, but yeah, along those lines.
It might have been that. Might have been 13, yeah. But Lance Lasowski tweeted it out. But that was after the second period. I mean, obviously the third period, they really turned things up.
I mean, Tage, Tuck, Paterka, and Darlene all had 3 points tonight.
Yeah.
So, of course, that is not going to happen on a nightly basis, but it does show you the potential. I mean, they say it all the time, and of course, it's frustrating, but this team is still really young. And I think the expectations got to them a little bit this year. The injury luck was really bad. And there's been some, of course, unfortunate timing and lack of consistency, especially on the power play. But nights like tonight and a lot of other games this season, they've had a lot of wins in regulation, and a lot of them have been like this, dominating wins against really good teams. So as unfortunate as it is, there is reason for optimism.
Yeah, and I know that playoffs and scoreboard watch and all thing, it's probably pointless at this point. I hate to say it, but just to be the realist here, like I just don't see the teams that you need to lose all losing to the extent you need them to lose. But I am fully in favor of not playing, obviously not being the fan that's going to root for draft position here, and just finish out on a strong note. I genuinely just want to see this team continue what they've been doing. I want to see them go on a 6-0 stretch here, like make it interesting. But in the same breath, I just want to see more development and just more proof, at least to people more than say me and you, that injuries probably did play more of a part than we give it credit for. And obviously the regression in some players this season.
Yeah. Injuries, I think, as we've talked about, coaching, some questionable lineup decisions throughout the year, and obviously the power play. If they had even a marginally better power play, I think that accounts for at least 4 points, and you are, in that case, right in the playoff race instead of basically out of it. So, yeah, I mean, that can be the difference in the season, because goaltending's been good. Defense has been better than last year. And, of course, the goal scoring hasn't been quite as good. Dylan Cousins, yes, he's been disappointing, but I do think he's played better in the second half of the year. He had a slow start to the year. You don't know what he's dealing with. And he is only 22. He's in his 4th season, but he's still very young. So I'm not going to give up on him, and I don't think it's worth it to try to pull off some blockbuster deal for him. He's on a pretty manageable contract in terms of what his trajectory is. And of course he fell off a little bit this year, but I'm encouraged given his play style. Mm-hmm. And also he's going to have some positive regression scoring goals next year, because he's had a lot of bad luck in that department this year.
Shout out to Colin Donnie. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but new listener. I'm not sure, first time listener, but at least if I've seen you in the comment section. Now that we're a few days and a good win out of the debacle against the Leafs, what is your take on Cousins still haven't given up on him, or is it time to move on from him? There is zero chance they're moving on from Dylan Cousins this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, good timing with the question there, as we were just talking about. But yeah, they're not going to, unless an even worse season happens next year, which I think there's a very, very small chance of that. He's 22 years old. He's in a second-line center role, which is probably on a quicker pace than most NHL players are used to at this point in his career. And we've seen what he can do. He had 30 goals last season, and some came on the power play, but he also was in better positions and got some puck luck. And sometimes that's what it comes down to. So, no, I am not worried about Dylan Cousins, and I don't think anybody should give up on him.
Another thing, too, is I think it would take, like Kevin Adams to get some kind of offer where it makes it almost impossible for him to say no.
Yeah, which
like Ottawa calls about Brady Tkachuk at the end of the season. It says, hey,
I mean, it's similar situation to Middlestat. Like, they got a really good deal, and they had a 1-for-1 hockey trade. But as we've seen in this league, that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Okay. Another comment here from Big Fungus. So are they just going to play with no expectations next year? It's not like expectations are going away.
I mean, it's a tough question, because, like, of course, the fan expectations will be there, but what are their expectations for themselves? I think they all expected to make the playoffs this season, and they didn't live up to it. And they probably, I mean, aside from a few years when the team was actively tanking, I think they expect to hopefully win most nights and make the playoffs most years. That's what you do as an athlete. It is their job. They go to the rink every day. They practice. They go on these road trips. They play at home. They're professional athletes. In no way, shape, or form do I think that they're actively trying to lose games. So, yeah, that will be their expectation. But I think there is a difference between expectation and the pressure that results from expectation negatively affecting your game to the point where you're gripping the stick too tight and you're not capitalizing on chances where you normally would, or you're not producing on a power play, which was one of the best in the league last season. I think the pressure got to them a little bit, and that speaks to how young and inexperienced they are. But one more year, hopefully some new fresh blood and veteran blood to the group will help that cause and push this team in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. 3 stars.
I will go with, I'll say Tuck is the 3rd star. As we mentioned, that play he made to Peterka in the offensive zone. It's been a staple of his defensive game throughout his career, but just another example of how good he is at both ends of the ice. And he had 3 points himself tonight. So not a bad night for a 3rd star. I'll go with Darlene, number 2. He was, especially early on, just getting pucks to the net. He was really, really good with power. He had a goal and 2 assists himself, another 3-point night. And then number 1, I'll go with Peterka. 2 more goals to take him to 28. 3 points for him. You see the speed, you see the acceleration, you see the shot creation and the chance creation that he gives you on most nights. He had a little bit of a lull at one point in February and March, but the rest of the season he's been the Sabres' best forward, aside from Middlestat, of course, who was leading the team before he got traded. But yeah, he was really good again, and can't wait to see how he progresses.
I gotcha. For me, I'm gonna go Darlene, my 3rd star. I think Darlene really quarterbacked a lot tonight. Moved the puck well, to your point earlier. Him and Owen, like, this is the first time they've been together where I looked at them like, man, they looked really good tonight. They looked like a first pairing tonight. 2nd star, I'm going to go JJ Peterka for obvious reasons. I mean, I think that, he's really found his place on that top line, the way he's moving the puck up the ice, get into those little gaps below the dots and find, get into the areas, finding ice where he can get to, where he can find chances. Because I mean, he could have had 4 goals tonight, easy. He was all over the ice, lots of chances. I genuinely believe when Mike Pekka made a comment that's like an 80 to 90 point player someday, and I truly believe that. I agree with it. And the sky, not going to say the sky is the limit for him, but like I expect some great things from him next season. 1st star, I'm just going to go the man of the night, Jeff Skinner. Why not? He may not have been on the score sheet tonight, but you know what I mean? Tonight was all about him and celebrating the career he's had. It's unfortunate he's going to have that asterisk around tonight, like, 1,000 games and never been to the playoffs, but who cares, man? Like, he's been a good teammate. He's always been consistently a decent goal scorer with the exception of 2 years under Kruger. I'm super happy for him, and he deserved to have a fun night tonight. And for all of those who got their beanie, there you go. Jeff Skinner, 1,000 games. I didn't understand the significance of the red beanie until I realized it was about the fact that he wears some dirty red beanie before every game when he comes to games. So now I get it. So super happy for Jeff. 1st star honors tonight.
To answer this question, do you think they will fire any of the assistant coaches? Something has to change. Yes, I do.
Yes, Jody.
I think they will completely revamp the coaching staff, aside from Mike Bales, the goaltender coach. I do think they'll get new defensive and offensive assistants, and this is provided Don Granato doesn't go as well, which I think for now his job is safe somehow. But largely, yes, I do think they are going to get some more experience behind the bench. I think they get experience up front and hopefully on the back end as well, just to give them more options in case of injury. But yeah, I think they have to, and I do think they will.
Mm-hmm. So, I 100% agree with everything. I think we've been on that train since the start of the season. I just never understood the whole point of having the assistants he's had since day one. I've always been on the train of surrounding that guy with Granado with more experience. I think they will do that to start the next season. Hopefully, whether that's in the form of some retread NHL coach who just wants to be an assistant, maybe they're looking to get themselves back into the head coaching conversation, by being a solid assistant in Buffalo. I would just like some more experience around him, not in the form of Matt Ellis or Marty Wolford. Any final thoughts, Connor?
Yeah, other than I'm happy they chose one of their good nights to be on such a special occasion for such a good guy. Shout out Jeff Skinner. This is a pro Jeff Skinner podcast. We love Jeff Skinner, and I would love nothing more than to see him get his first playoff appearance. Obviously this season, but being as realistic as we should be, most likely next season if they finally actually do it. But I think we mentioned a few times, as frustrating as this season has been for the most part, there is a lot of things to look forward to in these final 6 games. And I, for one, am excited. And we'll see what happens. But really good night. I'm happy they showed up. And let's enjoy these final 6.
Yeah. So that being said, remember this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with 8 different Western New York locations and 300 beers to choose from. Make sure you go check out Fatty Beer, and let's not forget Buffalo Go. Whenever you need any of your Buffalo sports apparel needs, your shirts, your hats, your hoodies, make sure you go check out at Buffalo Go Co. on Instagram and Twitter, buffalogo.com. They have some pretty cool stuff for the upcoming eclipse on April 8th. Go check it out. I am Duane for Mr. Connor Hurley over there in beautiful California. Still daylight there? No, it's not. No, it's what is it? 9:30 there right now?
No. It's like
8:30.
8:22.
8:22. Right.
But days are getting longer. It's getting a little warmer.
Yeah.
Spring is coming even out here. It was a tough winter. We got a lot of rain. So we're really looking forward to I know Buffalonians probably hate me hearing me say that, but in the grand scheme of California, this was the most rain in the history of LA. So it was a little bit tough, especially for my golf game. Got to get out there a little bit more to be ready for these tournaments this summer. Yeah. So everyone enjoy the eclipse. I'm really jealous I won't be home to see that. But that'll be a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, so I got a lot of family coming in from Florida just for that. So
that'll be cool.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. When's the Philly game?
Friday.
So we'll talk to you maybe before Friday. We'll see. But if not before Friday, we will definitely see you Friday night for a big Friday night matchup between the Broad Street Bullies and the Buffalo Sabres. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. And as always, go Sabres.